And I think that's the difference between real life and university life is that real life, you're never going to be that close to everything that you need. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is a new video. Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. This is Emily and I am Emily's Palette. And today I wanted to talk about my experience with university, my thoughts, the positives, the negatives, just some feedback in general so that I can help you make a decision on whether to go or not. Just a little bit of background again. I grew up in Italy, I did school there, and it's so different as to the experience of school in the UK, I believe, for many different reasons. One of the main reasons being in Italy there's less extracurricular or just fun subjects to do at school, like drama, dancing, creative stuff. So I always wanted to try implementing that with my studies, and that's when I decided to come to the UK to do university. I did a film, theatre and television course, and I absolutely adored it. I loved all of the uni experience. But I also had a lot of people having very contrasting opinions on university. Some people were saying it was the worst time of my life, I wish I never did it, it was useless, it didn't help me at all with my career, or I just had a horrible experience, I couldn't relate to any students, I hated halls and accommodation. And I just sort of share a bit of perspective about why it worked for me. I lived in halls the whole of my university course. It was 3 years and I just didn't want to move out of my accommodation. Firstly, because I joined right when COVID started, the gorgeous 2020. I then graduated in 2023, but the 3 years I did there, I stayed in halls. And I thought this is a great opportunity to meet new people, to make new friendships, to experience a bit of the uni life. So I decided to stay. I obviously changed between halls just because I wanted to experience different halls, but I loved living in halls. I feel like I grew so much as a person, just learning also to deal with people that you may not need to deal with on a day-to-day basis. My accommodation was full of people. It was 12 people in a townhouse. And the amount of times where maybe there were a few people that I didn't really get on with and I had to get on with, and just learning how to manage that, how to handle that, how to be polite either way, even with people that you really disagree with or just don't get on with. And that is a massive learning experience for me. But obviously I also met some really incredible people. Some of my housemates I'm still friends with, I still talk to. I met my best friends at university and I'm still very much in touch with them, even on a day-to-day basis. What I loved about university is that my campus was very much a little bubble. It had anything you could have ever imagined having at university. So there was a gym just for students. There were so many fields where, especially in spring and summer, you could just hang out with other students there. There was a bar, like a student bar for every hall, so you'd go down there and just hang out. There'd be communal areas. Even going to do the bloody washing was fun. You know, to wash your clothes with your friends was just suddenly such an incredible experience because you're just surrounded by students, surrounded by other people. It just feels different. It feels like you're in your own bubble. You've got shops on campus with food. You've got several cafes where you can just go and hang out. And my favorite place in the world, the library. So I'm not someone who studied a lot at university. You know, I would do my essays, I do my work. I don't believe my course of studies was very linked to having to study for hours and hours and hours and hours and never stopping and really working hard day and night. But either way, the library was my favorite part of campus. It was so nice. It was on several floors, and it would just be, I know this is not what libraries are about, but it would just be a chance to socialize with your friends, to work on your projects, to work on things that weren't necessarily even related to university, and then you'd go and just chat and hang out at the library bar. Cafe, I mean. We weren't drinking at the library. It just felt like every day there was something you could do that was nice and fun. And I think that's the difference between real life and university life, is that real life, you're never going to be that close to everything that you need, plus have a community and your friends living next door. It just doesn't happen, and unfortunately we don't know how lucky we are to feel that massive sense of community for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, and to have everything that you might need literally at walking distance, 5 or 10 minutes away. Just thinking about it now, when I moved to London, it's just so different to the actual London life. I remember I would call my best friend who lived at the halls next to me, and I would say, I just got my washing, I've dried it, and now I need to fold it, and I don't want to do this by myself. Can you come over and we can have a chat while I fold my laundry? It was the best time. We just have all kinds of chats, and we'd even forget that we were doing the laundry. She'd help me with the dreaded making the bed situation, and we'd just laugh and hang out and end up hanging out for the rest of the evening and sharing our experiences from university, sharing our awful dates or our awful flatmate situations, and we just talk and talk and talk. You know that situation in Friends where you think, wow, they just kind of go out, they work, they do their own thing, and then they all come back and they hang out together. Their best friends live right across the hall. They've got a little cafe, or they go and do the dry cleaning together. And it's sort of like that. That's the kind of experience I got. Was having a bit of a friend group, doing everything together, and suddenly you just never felt alone. I never felt alone. I felt super safe, which, being a country girl, is very difficult in a busy place. But as it was a student campus, there were only students around you or lecturers, and there'd be campus security. You'd have these halls that were really well made. You know, the doors, you need to have a specific fob with permission to open the door. That kind of thing, it just made me feel really safe and like, okay, this is a space where I can really be creative and explore things and just become this new version of me. We all know we've had a situation where we've gone into a new place and decided to be a new version of ourselves, a version we would have always wanted to be back at home, but we knew we couldn't because everyone knows what we're like. Well, that is what I got to experience at university. I became the person I always wanted to be, a bit more outgoing, a bit more out there, more confident. It really made me into the person I am today. As well as that, I tried all kinds of societies, which I would always recommend you do, is to try literally all kinds of societies. I started with the swimming society. I've always loved swimming, but then the water in the pools was actually really hot. No one was wearing those cap things on your head. There was hair everywhere. It actually, I can't. I couldn't. No, I couldn't. So as much as I enjoyed the swimming and the social aspect, I couldn't do that. But at least I tried it, you know? And then I really got into the pole dancing society. I really loved pole dancing. It was so difficult and I got bruises all over. But it was an interesting experience because I thought, when would I ever have started pole dancing just to give it a go? Made lots of friends there. I made some friends there. I got to be a part of these socials and it was great. I loved it. So it was a safe space with friends all around you, a community. You'd have occasional crushes. You'd try a new thing. You'd put yourself out of your comfort zone on a daily basis. Plus, you have a green campus. You can go on walks around a lake. I mean, it was... Yeah, anyway, I know I've said I really loved it. Obviously, there are positives and negatives. Some parts of it can be really hard and challenging, especially being away from home, not getting on with people very well, having sticky, flat situations, maybe not doing well in your courses. It can get really dark, so I definitely do see that part as well. I think in my sharing my experience, I wanted to share how much it had been beneficial for me and for my growth. It really, really shifted my perspective on so many things, and I became much more creative, much more out there, much more confident. I learned really how to cook because I could do really, really basic cooking, and I actually fell in love with cooking. I really, really liked cooking then. And you'd be in your flat, you'd cook, you'd eat dinner, and the sun was still out, and you'd just say to your friends, "Do you want to just hang out in the park?" You go to the park and hang out. Man, it was really cool. And I do feel for people that haven't had that experience at all, for people that maybe have their university that is in the middle of a city, and so you have to find your own rent and your own space, and it can be really difficult at times. In general, I see that statistics and data show that more than 80% of people, students especially, say they've had a satisfactory university experience, and more or less 8 to 10% of students have had an unsatisfactory university experience. And I think that can be due to so many aspects that we don't even really know about. My experience was certainly iffy because of the COVID side. When I started uni, I was terrified of COVID and I wouldn't socialize basically at all. I was really scared, and I would just lock myself in my room and wear a face mask whenever I left my room. I was very scared of COVID. And we also had maybe 3 or 4 seminars a week, which wasn't much at all to keep us going. Second year kind of came back. We did a bit more. We did more practicals and more theoretical kind of courses. And then third year was much, much better. We did a lot more. We went to a couple of theatre trips. We had a lot more courses that I was interested in. So it definitely picked back up. And I think right now it's definitely got a lot better. COVID was a tough time for everyone. Absolutely, there's no doubt. But either way, I think being in that space was enough for me to have a good experience of it. Maybe it's just me coming from Italy and knowing what the school system is like there, knowing how tough university is in Italy. Maybe it's just my experience and my view. I'd be very interested in knowing what your experience with uni was. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Why? And I hope that this video was helpful to you at all, whether you're doubting whether you should go or not, or whether you just wanted to hear about someone's experience about it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was valuable. And I hope you join me for the next video. Okay, bye everyone.